to let's play go Nippon, my trip to Japan, the 20 for the final part. Except it's not really the final part, is it? No, there's gonna be bonus parts. I don't know why I do that. It's like, why not just have it be part of the LP itself rather than be bonus part? Well, it technically is part of the LP, but it's like, surely it wouldn't be the final part if you got that, but whatever. I plan on playing through this a second time, but not, you know, record it, essentially, because like I said, I'm gonna I want to show the Sky Tree thing, and I want to at least go through one scene and try reading the older Japanese, because why not? But for the final part, just like the other ones, we're just gonna have a look at extras. Have a look at these stuff and stuff. You know what I find weird is I've scrolled for this, and it doesn't seem to show Yokohama for some reason. I mean, you technically visited that. Oh, that's one thing before I forget. I think I figured out, like, I haven't confirmed it, but I think I know how that one scene with Acura is like. You got that extra scene with Acura in the previous Let's Play I did. I think the reason why we got the extra scene where they're watching the movie and all that is, like, probably due to, the choices you make for locations. Like, I think it's because, like, I'm pretty sure I chose, like, the Sky Tree one in the previous one, except it wasn't actually the Sky Tree that we visited. And it's like, maybe it's because we went with, like, Acura for 2 locations, and then on a 3rd location, whichever position point in time it was, we went with both Acura and Mikado, but ultimately ended up just going with Acura. So, like, you spend 3 visits with one character, you probably get an extra scene, I imagine. And something else that probably leads to the festival, but I'm not 100% sure if I got that in the previous Let's Play or the original one on my main channel years ago. Either way it goes, I'm going to be playing through it anyway, you know, because, well, why the hell not? You know, even in the original version, I haven't actually seen every location, as I pointed out. I never really got around to actually playing through every kind of location. But probably will this time around. And then I'll be like, oh man, I want to on-screen this scene as well. But no. Just like if there's another version, maybe. If they make a new version anyway. Anyway, let's have a look at the stuff here. That's just the ticket station, you know, Ueno, get it right. Does that just say Ueno Park? If so, my god. Kanji, man, I just don't understand it at all. Oh wait, it's right there as well, isn't it? Right on that. So does that actually say Ueno Park? It's like, I've been studying Japanese, it's like, shouldn't I know this? No. The course doesn't cover kanji for some reason. It's a real shame, because it just confuses me. So I'm just kind of going with what I assume kanji is, and is more like, forms words more easily. But at the same time, I've seen kanji and like, seen like a sentence in Japanese. And have like kanji and all that, and it feels like sometimes it's just like, honestly, it doesn't really seem like it'd make much of a big difference between the hiragana and katakana. Like, it's not as if it, like, you know, makes things easier to write sometimes. Sometimes, like, the freaking kanji characters could be like something really small, and sometimes it could be something bigger. But if that's just Ueno Park, then that's quite a lot of freaking writing you have to do just to write that down, wouldn't it? It's like if you were to write it out in hiragana, or whatever, it'd be like, you'd have that for a character, that for a character, that for a character, that for, wait, actually, park in Japanese would be different, wouldn't it? I'm not sure if I know what park in Japanese is. I've probably got it down somewhere in my notes. I'd imagine I've probably lived a phrase that involves a park. but it wouldn't be nearly as... Wait, actually, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6... 1, 2, 3... Yeah, probably wouldn't really be all that many characters in hiragana they'd have to write down. And the kanji characters are a lot more freaking confusing looking, aren't they? It's just confusing me with that. Just... I mean, look at that. You saw the hiragana and all that when I showed it at some points in this LP, where I switched to it, right? I mean, those looked confusing, but these are even more confusing looking. Just like, try to memorize that. Like that right there, now that I look at it. This reminds me of katakana character. I forget what it's for, but it's combined with all this. It has those shapes to it that are familiar, but I've seen them different, isn't it? I don't know, man, it just confused me anyway. Actually get to the point. Ueno is a mix of many different cultures and a city with many faces. Ueno Station is massive, with transfer points for the Shinkansen as well as numerous ryoan subway lines. It was once known as the gateway to the north. When you exit the station, you'll come out at Ueno Park, which contains many structures including the Tokyo National Museum, the National Museum of Nature and Science, the National Museum of Western Art, the Tokyo Metropolitan Art Museum, the Ueno Royal Museum, Ueno Zoo, and numerous sporting facilities. You know, that actually has quite a lot of museums going on there, hasn't it? I wonder what they've got in the Western Art Museum. Well, obviously Western art, but what type of art we talking here? Just like, I don't know. There's a lot of different types of art used, like, I don't know. I've never actually been to an art museum, I don't think. I just keep thinking of bloody modern art stuff, just like, and here we see a bunch of trash that is thrown together and we called it art. I do not understand what is up with stuff like that. I mean, like, you know, like, the paintings all that, it's like, yeah, that's nice. Just like, when it's like more abstract, it's like, wow. I mean, you can have nice abstract art, but when it's just something stupid like, just like, okay, I stacked this on top of this, and I was like, art. I mean, with that, you could just pretty much do anything. Just like, I look at my room, it's like, my room's a mess. It's not a mess, I call it art. I call this the can army, because I have a lot of empty cans that I need to frickin' put in the bin. God damn, man, seriously. I'll probably do that after this recording, actually, because why the hell not? Or you just be like, what else? What else could I call art in my room? I have a globe, and there are socks stacked on top of it. That is art. I mean, it's just weird like that. But anyway, I'm going on a ramble here. But yeah, art comes in its many different forms, I guess, but whatever. It's a true nexus of art and culture. Incidentally, Ueno Zoo was Japan's first zoo, established in 1882. It was also the first Japanese zoo to have pandas, and contains 3 of the world's rarest animals, the giant panda, the okabe, and the pygmy hippopotamus. In recent years, the curious shoebill has also become a famous addition to the zoo. Was that the one that the protagonist was like, oh, it scared me a bit, but he was like, no, it didn't. I'd actually, like, Googled it, and I was like, oh, yeah, it's that bird, it's that freaking huge-ass bird. But I was partially right when I said, oh, is it one of those big flightless birds? I was right that it was a big bird, but wrong in that it actually does fly. Which, when you think about it, is absolutely terrifying, because it's a big-ass bird. Ueno Park is located in the kingdom, an unlucky direction called Dero Castle, according to the principles of Feng Shui.
kinkaku-ji temple, probably got the pronunciation wrong, was once built there to keep the Nippon, probably pronunciation sealed off, but during the Battle of the Ueno in 1868, it was burned to the ground and the Ueno Park was built on the ruins. The Ueno Park is a famous site for flower viewing, with large crowds coming every year to watch the cherry blossoms. The sight of people drinking and blowing off steam in the Ueno Park is fubuchi, which largely is Japanese springtime, and is often featured in the news and in other media. Finding a great spot is very difficult, and competition is fierce during cherry blossom season. It can be hard for travelers to find a good flower viewing spot without tremendous pre-planning. With this silly voice.
You know, one thing like, I was actually thinking of doing a drawing of, Actor and Mikado and maybe throwing a protagonist in the middle. This is completely off subject, but just thought I'd bring it up anyway. I thought this idea yesterday. I was like, yeah, I can do that. And then I was like, I'm too lazy to do that. And besides, I've said in the past, I'm more like a portrait kind of. I'm better at drawing portraits. And I like to have like a reference image, which I technically could. I just like have the character up on the screen and be like, okay. I don't know how I'd go about drawing it though. It's like the poses and all that. And I haven't drawn in ages. So it's like, I know, maybe I'll do that someday, I don't know. It's just like, I just can't be bothered. So I thought I'd mention that anyway, regardless. What happened to click on this? Oh. Oh wait. Oh, it goes, wait. Oh, that's what it is, okay.
Yoko access from Tokyo Station and all that. That is katakana, that is katakana, and that is kanji.
I mean, look at that. I can tell from this. That's that's me, and that's obviously Yoko. I'm assuming because what else would it be in this context? I know that is and that is me. Or, wait, no. Yeah, that is how it's pronounced, isn't it? Ame Yoko. There is one that is pronounced like me, but it's an I instead. It's kind of odd when you like try to think about it from like an English-speaking context, isn't it? Because you see it like written out like that and think, oh, Ame Yoko. No, Ame Yoko. Gotta just like the pronunciations are different. That's why whenever I write down my notes, I always write down how the pronunciation sounds from an English standpoint to kind of give reference to it. Because otherwise I'd completely forget. Well, sometimes anyway. I mean, I always write my notes like that, but sometimes I just like, the pronunciation can be really odd. Anyway, Amayoko is a shopping street that seems to link Ueno to, Kachimachi, boasting about 500 meters worth of stuff and 400 storefronts. Now, can you imagine if I actually visited every location and reading through all these, especially with the pace I go at with all my rambling? Just a thought there, but man, this would take forever. Anyways, there are two major origins for the name. The first is that it was major selling of because it's technically not an I, is it? That's pronounced as E-I. So, would it be emo-ame? I don't know. A type of candy in the days after the war when sugar was in short supply. The other is that it sold goods released by the American occupying army. Hence, America. Yokocho, which was then shortened to Ame-yoko. In reality, it's believed that the sign on the Ueno side, which sold a lot of candy, food, and other merchandise, read Ame-yoko, and the sign on the Okachimachi side, which carried goods from the Americans army, read Ame-yoko, and then the soldiers came together to form one Ame-yoko. You know, with American Japanese, it doesn't really, like, pronounce it. I mean, this isn't written in Japanese or anything, but, like, in Japanese, like, well, we've seen the ryoan-ji kind of thing, like, I didn't really focus on it, but, like, they've said America in this, like, in the Let's Play, didn't they? And you probably saw like that's like if you were looking at the top bit where it showed in ryoan-ji, you would have noticed it's not all that different in Japanese, just like America, something like that. America. It has a slight accent to it, but it's not really all that different. While like say like United Kingdom, I forget what the United Kingdom actually is in Japanese actually. That's different. I can't remember what China was. China was different though. England is Indo. Japan is obviously Nihon. It's just like some like places just don't like have different don't sound all that different in Japanese. Like Wales, for example, where I'm from, is Wales, or something like that. So it has a bit of an accent to it, but it's spelt out different. For example, it starts with a U of all things. So it's kind of weird. And it's like written out in katakana from where I saw it, so it's even more confusing looking. Anyways, this region was reduced to a wasteland during the Tokyo bombings and was later rebuilt to a black market following the war. You know, that's amazing when you think about it. It's like, well, that's even more extraordinary when you think World War II, like in terms of history, wasn't really a great while long ago, was it? It was less than 100 years ago. And just like after something as devastating as World War II, like the countries involved, which was quite a lot of countries obviously, I mean it was a world war, but despite all the death and destruction, they somehow rebuild anyway. Anyway, it gradually became regulated until it became the enormous linguist which we know today. When no Amiyoko is the only post-war black market which developed into a legitimate shopping district that survives to this day. This street, which is open all year round from dusk until dawn, is always full of people, and you can hear the voices of lively Americans ringing out from all corners. Many stores use traditional tataki, a method by which a machine uses a powerful compelling speech to draw customers in and sell them things. The name derives from the pounding tataki on the counters as they speak. Sale tactics, and customers get caught up in the rhythm and end up buying things they don't really need, so be careful. There are also many shops and other various types of foods, so it makes for a great place to walk around and eat. If you end up eating without a plan, you might end up stuffed before you know it. Amiyoko is a famous place for people to do their shopping at the end of the year for New Year's, when the streets typically see over 500,000. My gosh! What? Is that extra zero supposed to be there? Anyway, visitors per day. The sight of those narrow roads full of people buying things is, I mean, my god, if there were that many visitors per day, then holy shit. Buying things is fubuchi, a thing or act which involves a particular season, which is a term used by the media at the end of the year. Why am I speaking in a radio announcer voice? That's a thing. I was making a playlist, finally got around to making a playlist for the Pokemon Colosseum LP on my main channel, after freaking, what, how many years since I completed it? And then, like, well, as I was going through it, I was like going through the comments and all that, and just like, notice for the title is like, Pokemon Radio Edition, what the fuck? I clicked on it, it was like, oh yeah, that's when like I record the ends. I don't know if I was using a DV recorder back then still or not, but whatever the case, it stopped recording, but my commentary was still ongoing and I noticed it, so then I pretty much commentate the rest of it and announce what's going on like a radio announcer. That's why I called it that. So maybe that's why I'm speaking in a radio announcer voice at the moment here. Where was I? Yeah, how many Japanese people seeing these business shoppers on TV is a sign that the US truly has reached its end. It's currently on normal days, Amiyoko gets about 100,000 visitors per day. It's truly the shopping street that never sleeps. There was something else, wasn't there? Did I, like... Timon and North First in... on your model, wherever it is considered an unlucky direction from which only you can... Wait. Is this...
An old Chinese principle which suggests you can change a thing's fortunes by changing the placement of items in different directions.
It developed its own principles in the Japanese onmyo-dora practices you can pronounce with shit. Yeah, I just went back to that because, like, I didn't technically scroll over those. I mean, look at that! Nakano Broadway! It's obviously... Actually, I don't know. This is katakana here. This is kanji. And the rest is katakana. That kind of right there represents a drawn-up pronunciation. So you got like 4, 5, 6, and then you got just 2 kanji. I'm trying to think here. It's like, what could the kanji be for? Is it just like Naka? No, it can't be. I don't see no anywhere. Then again, I've not memorized katakana, so I don't know. Maybe that just represents Nakano and the rest right there is Broadway. So maybe in that case, kanji would be much more efficient. But you saw the other one right here. I mean, that's quite a bit you'd have to write down there. Anyways, access from Tokyo Station to your town line, Tokyo Station, blah blah blah. Nakano is known as a subculture holy land, and the shopping complex known as Nakano Broadway is at the center of that subculture. The name comes from the broad avenue leading down the shopping strip, Sun Mall, in front of Nakano Station. At first, the building was created as an extension of the shopping strip and mainly hosted different tenants, which used a manga shop, Mandarake, as the exception. A famous used bookstore. Not only do they sell manga, but they have games, toys, doujinshi, cosplay costumes, and on-hand goods. It's said that there's nothing you can't find at Mandarake. After the Japanese economy crashed, tenants gradually departed into Mandarake that filled the open space with random arcade stores. It was because of this, and due to the many manga artists and other anime industry professionals that lived along the town line in Nakano, the subculture movement based on Broadway gradually picked up steam and grew. Due to inflating costs during Nakano Broadway's original construction, South founders wanted to recoup its funding as soon as possible. Thus, to maximize the number of floors, the ceilings were built extremely low. Hallways and elevators were placed with little concern for convenience. And there are no windows, which only make you feel like you're inside of a giant basement. It all adds up to give the place an unintentioned underground feeling. This is also why the escalator at the entrance passes by the second floor and only stops at the third. Just outside Nakano Broadway are the shining lights and lively atmosphere of the city of Nakano. Because it's right area, first and foremost, there are a variety of stores that cater to all of the residential needs. There be a large station building and 10,000 seats arena, and both under construction nearby. Nakano is truly an evolving city. This is gonna take a while. Look at that, that's also like pretty simple. Like I noticed that, like 2 kanji characters can make up something like that. But then other times there's more. It just like confuses me. Access from, I'm not gonna read all the freaking access from Tokyo Station. I mean, I have a habit of reading everything, but even I can't be asked sometimes. A city on the eastern edge of Kinkaku-ji wards, probably look at that pronunciation, that retains the share of Edo Shiramachi. The river that flows nearby is the Edo River, and crossing it takes you into Matsuro, Chiba Prefecture. It's famous as the setting of the Otokawa Tsuraiyo movie series, which is in the Guinness Book of World Records as the longest running movie series ever. The station front area is extremely compact and there are no tall buildings around, which gives it a different sense of atmosphere and scale than the tourist town Asbusa, even though they're both Shiramachi. Although Shiramachi is also a tourist destination, it still breathes with the life of the people who live there, and retains the old Shiramachi air. Shibamata originally thrived as the Monzensho to Shibamata Taishaku. The road to the Taishaku can be found right beside the station. I found that about out of stores built in an area to cater for pilgrims for a temple or shrine. And as for City's Main Street, it's a short temple road less than 200 meters long with a on its packed with shops selling things like herb dango and senbei crackers, as well as legacy shops still selling the Eon River fish that their ancestors caught in the nearby Edo River. The shops built there all have an explosive shower feel to them, making it a popular spot not just for Japanese tourists, but for foreign visitors as well. Shibamata Taishaku. Taishaku is a guardian god of Buddhism, and Shibamata Taishaku is so famous that if you say Taishaku in Tokyo, everyone think of the temple first. Shibamata Taishaku is an affectionate nickname, but its real name is Kinkaku-ji, and it was established at the beginning of the Edo period in 1609. The temple is made from uncolored wood, which makes it seem plain at first glance, but it's decorated with intricate garlands. The beautiful gate at the end of the temple road is called Nippon, a church built 2 stories high. On the side of the first floor stands 2 of the 4 heavenly deities, Rochoken and Kamasu-ten, from which the gate takes its name. These 2 statues were carved during the are donated to the temple when the garden was constructed. I mean the gate, not the garden. Once you pass through the Nippon, you'll see the Taishaku door standing right in front of you. You have to take off your shoes to go inside and pay your respects. Shibamata Taishaku is famous for its omiki, containing a large number of bad fortunes. Even if you draw a cure, there's no need to fret. Stick to the sign that there's nowhere to go but up. Incidentally, a famous line from Tora-san returns this in the movie series of Takawa Kyoyo refers to this Taishaku. Wrong one. Yagiri no watashi geri. Shouldn't it be I think that's how boats usually kanji, no kanji, shi, hiragana. Wait, if that's the case, well, that's right there, so that must be Yagiri, no. Wait, that's even more confusing then. Well, then again, you know, the structure in it's confusing, I don't know. I'm completely confused, like, by the looks of things here, that's she, essentially, that's hiragana. And the only she we have is right here in watashi. So, like, I'm confused by the structure of that there. Anyway, the ferry that has linked Shibamata and Shiba Prefecture from across the Edo River since the early Edo period is the only remaining ferry that crosses the Edo River, and the only one remaining in Tokyo. It's famous for novels and hit anchor songs, and it's famous as a result of that. The boat is wooden and rowed by hand and maintains an air of the good old days, so it's a peaceful place to spend some time. The crossing fee is 200 yen each way, and it's available from 10 AM to 4 PM. In summer it runs every day, but takes Tuesdays off in July and August. In winter it only runs on Saturday, Sunday and holidays. It may also be cancelled due to rain or rough weather. Oh my god, Kyoto's gonna be a pain in the ass. Kyoto Live! See, it always seems to be 2 kanji characters for names of places like that. Kyoto was the original capital of Japan for over 1,000 years, from 794 through 1867. It was largely spared during the fire bombings of World War II, so many of its priceless historical landmarks remain to this day. metropolis of 1.4 million people. The city streets are modern, but have a completely different atmosphere compared to a city like Tokyo. To maintain that atmosphere, extremely tall buildings and large-scale shops are forbidden in the city. The historical city streets blend well with nature. Unlike the dazzling, ever-changing Tokyo, the people in the buildings have a settled feeling in many ways. They're refined and lacking the sort of boorishness usually associated with the country. Ryoan is a Kyoto pleasure district that's been around since ancient times, and the houses and streets still maintain their appearance. Wooden houses line the stone streets, making for elegant and dignified. See? There's even words in English that I can't pronounce this shit, let alone Japanese. The town was originally developed along the road leading to the Osaka Shrine and prospered as a place catering to merchants and artists. Most famous were called Mako, who performed songs and dances at restaurants and entertained customers. Mako was said to be around 15 to 20 years old. Mako is a name given to apprentices. When they are fully trained, they are called Geiko. If you walk around town, you might see these white-faced kimono-wearing Mako strolling around. You can even have your picture taken with them. They receive strict training on how to walk, how to stand, and even how to treat people, so they were attractive in their elegance. I'd imagine the quality of the European skies over from the aesthetic of ancient Japan. Kinkaku-ji. Now we have one that has 3 characters. The kinkaku-ji is one of the most famous sightseeing spots in Kyoto. It was erected by a noble in the year 1224. But when his grandson was executed for an attempt to kill the emperor, it was abandoned for some time, until the 14th century when Japan's ruler, Ashikaga Yoshimitsu, took over its reconstruction in the year 1397 and made it his center of politics. The nickname Kinkaku-ji derives from its famous golden walls, and that gold was rich during this time period. 1358 to 1408, the most powerful man in Japan in the 14th century. He ushered in the golden age of Muromachi period, 1336 to 1573. Temple's glory appearance is very eye-catching. The landscape that surrounds the Kinkaku-ji is even more amazing. During the day when Ashikaga Yoshimitsu ascended his furniture, it was called a Hanado Gojo, flowered palace. The flowers bloomed there all year round. Some space away from the dignity of the gardens, the building stands alone, glittering in its reflection on the water. I think that the poetry of the Kinkaku-ji is not just in the building itself, but how it stands amidst the spectacle surrounding it. Sightseeing is held at the Kinkaku-ji on the 2nd and 4th Sunday of every month. I got to experience it during my trip. Zazen is the emblematic spiritual practice of the Zen religion, and it still goes on at temples in Japan. You sit with crossed legs, much like I'm doing now, but for different reasons. Habit to say from school, which was years ago, but whatever. You sit with crossed legs in a Japanese-style room. Close your eyes and meditate. The monk walks around the room with a flat wooden stick. You enter into worldly thoughts during your meditation. The monk will realize it. Move around behind the person and wrap their shoulders with the stick. It makes a loud sound when it strikes, but it doesn't hurt very much at all. You feel very at peace doing that then, listening to the sounds in the trees around you. You start to feel as one with nature, and when you open your eyes at the end, there's a refreshing feeling that's like being reborn. It's a very strange sensation. Ryoan-ji Rock Garden. Look at that, that's still quite near a mouthful, isn't it? Ryoan-ji was a temple erected in 1450 and strongly reflects the Zen ideal. Zen is a sect of Buddhism which encourages its practitioners to draw closer to the Buddha's spiritual development. The garden gained worldwide fame when Queen Elizabeth praised it during her visit to Japan in 1975. This made it very popular with foreigners and created an international Zen boom. The ryoan-ji Rock Garden consists of, what? Wild sands? Is that supposed to be white? Is there a typo? I don't know. Squared open area 22 meters wide and about 7 meters deep and set with 15 stones. Am I even saying that right? I don't know. I've like, embarrassing as it is to say, I haven't memorized the initials for something like that. Well, sand and stone are made to resemble islands floating in the ocean. The abstractness of the rock and confession and natural foliage, granite, great numbers of our atmosphere. There are 15 stones in the ryoan-ji. But aside from one spot, there is no place from which you can see all. Wait, there is no place from where you can see all 15. But I thought there was. They encourage the abstraction of reality. So many believe that the placement of these stones has a hidden meaning. They say 15 is considered a perfect number in Eastern cultures, so it may represent the idea that perfection is unattainable by humans. That's deep, man. Alternatively, there is a theory that they intentionally created an imperfect system because the perfection of things always signals the beginning of the decline. The ryoan-ji also has a pond called kiyomizu-dera, which is surrounded by sakura, kiyomizu, and gaida trees that make for a peaceful and serene view. It's particularly beautiful in spring when the cherry blossoms bloom, and in fall when the trees take on their autumn colors. Man, we've still got more of Kyoto here. Kiyomizu-dera, Kiyomizu-dera is a historical temple, also known as the Pure Water Temple, as I found out, partly from a Google search. It's like I said, that means water, but I guess Kyo must mean pure, and Dera, as we learned, means temple, essentially. So, yeah. It's a historical temple built in the year 778 and is famous as a World Heritage Site. The most striking thing about it is how the main hall juts out from the mountains, offering a silhouette view of the houses of Kyoto from above. On the slope of the mountain, huge wooden pillars up to 12 using them to stand. See, I'm still just like, I don't know, man. Just like, obviously, you know, when I was, you know, learning as a kid, I clearly did not pay attention to the stuff, which I really should have. And to stand supporting that could be called a stage in front of the main hall. Visitors can stand on that side and look far down below. The building's amazing presence combined with the destruction of beauty to create an even greater impact. The phrase "jump from the stage at kiyomizu" is used as a metaphor for courage and jumping from it really does seem like it would take courage. Either that or pure stupidity. According to historian statistics, there are 234 cases of people jumping off the stage between 1694 and 1864. The survival rate was 85.4%. Even so, I don't really feel like making the jump myself. There's a place called the waterfall near Kiyomizu-dera, which has the origin of the temple's name. In English, it even frickin' says it. It didn't say it in the novel itself, though, did it? It's only in the notes here. In English, Kiyomizu-dera means the temple of pure water, which refers to this sort of waterfall. It's actually 3 small waterfalls, and there's an old legend that those who drink from it will gain various good fortunes. Fortune in academics, fortune in love, and long life. Well, I got a little carried away and drank from all 3 of them, which they say is an act of greed that comes without any good effects. Meh. The temple, the shrines, and castles of Kyoto are enhanced throughout different times of the year. The temples of Kyoto are lit up with a variety of color-changing lights that symbolize different seasons and months. In spring, the lights are pink to match the color of cherry blossoms. In autumn, they mimic the color of autumn leaves. The lights always bring out the most beautiful parts of nature for the season, making for a truly otherworldly sight. Sounds pretty nice. Kyoto Studio Park. Kyoto Studio Park began when a certain movie company opened its sets to the public as a way to ease their economic troubles. I like how it just says certain. It's like, we're not going to say the name of the movie company, but we're going to like say there is a certain venerable one, so it's kind of obvious. Anyway, this sets the public a way to ease the hours. The company was very prolific in the creation of Jidaigeki. So many of the sets it's released were Jidaigeki sets. This theme park recreates an Edo period Japanese thriller, and the fun comes from feeling like you've traveled back to those days. You could even pay to put on the costumes of very appropriate characters like samurai and princesses. From 1603 to 1868, when the Tokugawa family held government control of the country. This time period borrowed its name from Edo, Tokyo's regional name, which was the political capital of the Japan. What? You know, that's what I find odd about history is essentially like you have like rulers over a country that are, I mean, even nowadays you still have countries like that where it's like determined purely based on a family rather than, you know, like kind of being like, oh no, we'll actually have a vote on who gets to run the country, essentially. It's like, no, you're born into it. It's like, this is bullshit. But either way, it's bullshit anyway, because even with the whole, oh, you get to choose your leader, vote. Although, by that it means you get a choice of who will be the one screwing you, essentially, because, well, let's face it, most leaders don't tend to really do all that great, but whatever. And essentially, if you like, it doesn't matter if you vote for one person or the other, because you'll probably get screwed either way, and even if not for that, you'll probably end up like voting for someone who won't actually win, most likely. As, I don't know. Just like, whatever. Essentially, it's just a load of shit. Well, European countries had that for many, many years with royal families and stuff like that. Of course, it's not the case anymore. I mean, it's still like, in the UK, still like the royal family, but it's not exactly like they have big influence or anything like that. It's more just a tourist kind of attraction nowadays. But then you actually have countries like, that have like a family that kind of like rules over. I mean, like, look at North Korea. Just like, I don't know. It just like kind of boggles my mind how stuff like that can go on for hundreds of years. But anyways, they still film Jiraiya in this theme park, and if you time your trip just right, you can actually watch the filming in progress and totally photobomb them and get kicked out. A Jiraiya sword fight is the coolest thing I have ever seen. Also known as chase, usually involves a rush by multiple opponents against a single man who dodges with them smoothly while striking them all down. AKA that one scene that you see in most of those type of films where you see the protagonist be an absolute badass. Either the protagonist or one of the supporting characters anyway. That's like, with action movies, like, it doesn't matter if the plot is shit or anything. Because really, like, the appeal of action movies, at least when I'd see them, is the action sequences themselves. Like, one that I can think of off the top of my head, it's not samurai, but it's the same kind of thing where you can rush at multiple opponents is Blade. Just like those scenes where you just like, all of them are just charging around me, just like kicking their ass one by one, all on his own. Just seeing scenes like that, just like where you just see Kazuya's badass kicking the crap out of multiple people. Those are like some of the best action scenes. And then you got like the epic one-on-one type of battles as well. One that I can think of actually for when it comes to samurai, I guess, is what was the name of that one? Sword of the Stranger. The final fight scene in that film is awesome. The music, the animation, it's like it's not overly flashy. It looks realistic for the most part. It's not like, you know, like say Bleach or something where it's like, we're gonna be flashy and fast for a few seconds, then we're gonna monologue for like half an hour, and then we'll go back to fighting again. No, it's straight up fight to the death. Just like lasts about like 2 to 3 minutes, and just like fighting, and it looks realistic-ish. I mean, sure, it's like some big places like, how the fuck did they freaking do all that shit? But it looks far more realistic than a shonen fight scene, that's for sure. So that's pretty epic. One-on-one battle, of course it was. Wait. Kyoto, oh yeah, we're going here now.